Ghana People's Defence Forces Chief of Defence.
Run for charity, run for hope!
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, the principal judge, Justice Jane Francis Abodo, has launched a resource book on succession law. The publication is expected to guide judicial officers in handling inheritance and estate-related disputes with greater consistency and predictability. She encouraged judicial officers to uphold professionalism and apply the law uniformly in order to build public trust in the justice system. Justice Jane Francis Abodo also commended the Uganda Association of Women Judges and the Uganda Law Reform Commission for their leadership and contribution to the initiative.
It's not just about the law that we are actually solving disputes. It is that we are actually bringing order. It is that we are protecting the weak. It is that we are bringing clarity. We speak with clarity in situations where sometimes emotions, cloud judgment. So that's why this resource book is so important, and I am excited that it has come to pass. I've been waiting for it since last year. It is therefore imperative that judicial officers are equipped with a reliable, practical, and accessible reference material. This resource book is timely and a valuable contribution to that regard. It is comprehensive enough because it covers the legal principles, procedural requirements, case law, and of course practical guidance. It provides a structural framework for handling succession matters with greater clarity and confidence, and that's what really we are emphasizing even as we handle other cases, but especially matters dealing with succession. I'm particularly encouraged by the emphasis on promoting consistency in judicial determinations. We thrive in consistency as judicial officers. We must do that. There must be consistency. There must be predictability. We should not be shocking people every time we are issuing decisions. People are shocked and shocked. No, people should expect that these facts are similar, so we expect this, and when you give that decision, it rests well.
Please join in this picture, and your consent for all the pictures, please.
Now, several stakeholders have described the forthcoming tax regime as harmful to economic development. Controversy erupted on the proposal to increase the rate of single-use plastics from 2.5% to 25% per ton. The government has been urged to consider other alternatives to ensure compliance in the measures to recycle plastic rather than introducing what has been described as a tax burden. This follows the ongoing stakeholder engagement with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance on the tax proposals by the government. Daniel Mugoya gives us more.
The discussion on the proposed taxes for the next financial year is at its peak as several stakeholders shared views with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance.
Memories at that time.
Government seeks to collect an additional 1.74 trillion shillings from the proposed tax policies for financial year 2026-2027. However, a section of the proposals has been deemed hazardous to the growth of the economy. Apparently, every stakeholder is against the proposed additional 200 shillings on fuel, including petrol and diesel, citing bad timing for the economy.
Mr. Chairman, taxation is a good tool. But countries that are always thinking regulating because of taxation alone take a lot of time to grow.
The Uganda Manufacturers Association is against the government proposal to introduce a 0.5% tax on gross income for businesses that have carried tax losses for 7 consecutive years. This, according to UMA, is likely to kill the loss-making businesses.
Some of the companies that are global players today, when they were starting in their early first decade, they were making huge losses, but with a clear long-term plan and prospects. and strategies. But now when we come and say we want to tax revenue, you're simply saying, for you, if you are not making profits beyond 7 years, you have no business in Uganda.
Government urges that the move is to bar companies from perpetual declaring of losses to avoid paying corporate tax.
If there is any company that is doing creative accounting, URA has built sufficient capacity in terms of manpower, in terms of systems, in terms of software.
As such, there is no cry about creative accounting. These accountants should be able to audit and come up with a corrective version. Doesn't make us go into a wrong tax.
Another controversial proposal remains the famous idea to exempt Bujagali hydropower dam from income tax for a period of 7 years. In the government's opinion, the move is to keep the electricity costs low, whereas the Uganda Manufacturers Association agrees with the proposal. Various stakeholders have objected.
Mr. Chairman, we have always often at time complained about these waivers that are not cutting across. You cannot auction my one container for $30,000 because I've paid the taxes, and then you are giving a waiver of billions to a fellow business person who is only using state cover, who is only using state resources to harass the business people.
Kampala City Traders Association chairperson Issa Sechito narrated to the MPs the electricity bills draining the traders' pockets. Sechito was also harsh on the continuous tax imposed on the imported clothes in disguise of promoting local producers.
You can imagine the same time you are phasing out second-hand cloth is the same time you are charging taxes in kilos on garments and textiles. As if you wished people to pass naked. It renders prices very high in the region if Ugandans were not bold enough to smuggle, in quotes.
The discussions heated most regarding the proposed increase in the rate of single-use plastics from 2.5% to 25% per ton. The critics argue that the move would chase the business owners from the industry, yet the government could heighten environmental protection measures.
We wouldn't be even thinking of these taxes coming back as control measures. A tax can't control environment protection now. You will only be helping other countries to smuggle here the products when you have banned and killed your own industry. You have killed your own industry and you're bringing what? Other smugglers to come and take lead in the markets here in Uganda. And we cannot do it without plastic. And I want to tell you categorically clear, even the t-shirts and the shirts you're putting on here, they're made of polyester plastic.
The issue of plastics is part of the long list of controversial proposals, which has over time proved to be a thorn in the shoes of lawmakers.
We came as an association and said, for every manufacturer who is not recycling, tumukwasi, we control those ones to avoid damages of the environment.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Yes, Honorable.
Thanks, Daniel, for that story there. Now, the Uganda Communications Commission, in partnership with the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, has blocked over 500 pornographic websites, both local and international, to curb pornography consumption in the country. Officials say the rising cases of moral decay, especially among youth, are being fueled by easy access to explicit content through telecommunications platforms and social media, which is a threat to social transformation and the preservation of cultural values.
In schools.
Addressing the media at the Uganda Media Center, the Undersecretary at the Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, Joel Wanjala, cited poor parenting and unchecked social media use as key contributors to the growing levels of moral decay in the country.
Duty bearers, including the parents and teachers, abuse the trust of children under their care. We are observing this. We have also seen, colleagues will agree with me, an increase in abortion and teenage pregnancies among the youth in school and out of school. An increase in the sexties and nude shows now again cropping up in the urban centers. The remanso, you are aware, they are again cropped up, targeting youth in the major urban centers. These and many others are symptoms of a bigger problem of moral decadence and breakdown of the value system in our country, which we must deal with firmly.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of the Pornography Control Committee noted that evolving digital technologies have further increased exposure to pornographic content, which in some cases has been linked to crimes such as child trafficking.
Because sometimes when we talk about things in Uganda, people think that they are far away, they are from Western countries and they are not here. But many children are being trafficked. You can look up the statistics, and most of them for pedophilia, where older men are using young children for sexual exploitation. All this happens within our view. Some children are even given up by those who are supposed to be their guardians.
The Uganda Communications Commission and the Directorate has blocked over 500 websites that harbor pornographic content in an effort to reduce access and consumption.
The public is reminded of the need to safeguard the integrity and moral ethics of our children and our country. Following issuance of our notice to the telecommunication operators on 2nd April this year, telecommunication operators have confirmed the blockage of 500 sites that have been distributing pornography.
The Directorate also emphasizes that government is implementing measures to restore cultural value systems and the establishment of a national values policy.
Values that we must cherish, including respect to humanity, respect to the environment, integrity. Those are the values that are espoused in this policy. There is a comprehensive sensitization program that was launched on ethical discourse to cover all secondary schools. In these 5 years, we hope to cover all the secondary schools and institutions of higher learning.
However, there are concerns that explicit content still circulates across multimedia and social media platforms.
You give this the light that it needs, very many things are going to change. It's not alone. There are many other hubs of pornography right now that are happening in the nights, even in the places you don't expect, in people's houses. But we have reports on all these things. We are doing inspections. We are going to do our best after here.
A call has been made for collective responsibility among stakeholders to effectively curb the spread of pornography and promote ethical standards in the society. Rebecca Nantongo, Dan Lugemwa for ABC News.
It's coming to 29 minutes after 8 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll now take a very short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, nkwenye kumitano. Ompa ile kumibiri. Abantu abakuluma atandisa obiyaye mwene. Obiyaye obulira. Iwe. Ngobi yanko bantu sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
On his 52nd birthday, General MK invites you for a charity run. The run will be held on 26th April 2026 at the Kololo Ceremonial Grounds starting at 6 a.m. Get yourself a kit using these MTN and Airtel payment platforms. Run for charity, run for hope.
Run for charity, run for hope.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. The Principal Judge, Jane Frances Abodo, has appealed to institutions of learning to establish students' Moot court facilities to offer viable opportunities to law students to develop advocate skills. She was speaking at the official launch of Students' Moot courtroom facility for law students at Nkumba University.
The Principal Judge, Lady Justice Jane Frances Abodo, has launched a fully stocked Moot court facility for law students at Nkumba University to offer practical skills for law students. Law students demonstrated how they practice by following all court proceedings before Justice Jane Frances Abodo.
It's a calling, it's not a job, it's a calling. When you take it as a calling, then you actually take it and...
The Principal Judge, Lady Justice Jane Frances Abodo, underscored Nkumba University's efforts in prioritizing competence-based curriculum.
The law is a living discipline that finds its true expression in the courtroom, in the resolution of disputes and in the delivery of justice. It is for this reason that the practical training is actually indispensable. Moot courts are therefore an essential bridge to bridge theory and practice.
We are in a learning process.
The Dean of Law School, Whitney Nabalende, said government gave a deadline to all institutions to align the curriculum to a competence-based curriculum before 2027.
We started with the training of the staff in competence-based education. And now we want also our students to learn the different advocacy skills, the skills that they will need as legal professionals later. So the Moot Court is going to be very important for our students to have the practice.
It is a training ground for naturally competent, ethical, and practice-ready lawyers.
In the year 2020,
the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Jude Lubega, noted that Moot Court gives law students a feel of a laboratory of legal practice where knowledge meets application.
Today's launch, Your Lordship, speaks directly to a broader transformation in higher education, our transition towards what we call a competence-based curriculum that the government of Uganda took over to make sure that all education within the country follows CBC.
Law students were awarded with certificates of recognition and medals. The Students' Moot Court was on the theme Advancing Legal Advocacy through Moot Court Excellence.
Matters pertaining to security now, where a high-level training on nuclear security culture in Kampala has brought together the Atomic Energy Council, the Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF, Mulago Hospital and radiation safety experts. The program, supported by the Office of Radiological Security, targets preventing critical risks, theft and misuse of radioactive materials. However, experts warn that neglecting the working environment can lead to information leakage and insecurity. The training builds a motivated workforce capable of operating effectively within a streamlined chain of command. Iman Kahwa reports.
Okay, so welcome to Security Culture class.
The Office of Radiological Security and the U.S. Department of Energy and National Nuclear Security Administration have conducted a training on nuclear security culture. The training brings together participants from the Atomic Energy Council, UPDF, Mulago Hospital and radiation safety experts. The course builds capacity among officers and specialists.
People are not conscious of nuclear security. Then your technology will fail because some of them, whom we normally call insider threats, they will fail your technology.
And it's those things coming together to ensure that everybody takes part in security, from the lowest level in the organization to the highest person in the organizational chain of command. Everybody is responsible for security culture, and that's what we're teaching here, is for if you see something, say something.
Experts warn that without a strong nuclear security culture, there is a risk of information leakage and insecurity.
We've had several cases that are known where the lack of security culture has resulted in potential theft of materials that required the governments to go back and recover some of their material. So it's very, very important, and we would also say it's very fundamental in any nuclear framework or within a country that you have to have the proper security culture in order for you to be able to properly control your material.
And actually, sometimes when there are nuclear security incidents, it's actually not the radiological consequences that are major. There are other non-radiological consequences. Imagine if the environment is contaminated and you have to shift people, to move away people. That costs a lot to the government.
Now, the other key elements towards ensuring nuclear security and safety include attitudes, behaviors, institutional norms, and individual responsibilities. These components ensure that the environment, the population, and the people using nuclear technology are safe. A healthy working environment is also key towards achieving that.
It's the responsibility of the Human Resource Department at Atomic Energy Council to ensure that these individuals' concerns are identified and are addressed. That way we prevent many other things, because they may displace the anger and do some other weird things.
So if a supervisor was to be presented with an employee that brings something to their attention, and that supervisor doesn't have a positive attitude towards that, it may shut down that employee, not just for this incident, for years to come.
Stakeholders emphasize the need for continuous engagement to strengthen Uganda's nuclear security framework.
We look at different areas such as protect, delay, and recovery or response. So the protect is the part is what kind of sensors and what kind of physical items or policies and procedures can we put in to help protect the material.
Investing in skilled and motivated personnel will enhance safety with effective communication channels.
I bought you a low-level incident, you didn't act on it. Why would I bring you another one? So it opens up those chains of communication.
Uganda's Atomic Energy Council leadership has strict recruitment procedures to ensure competent personnel are entrusted with nuclear responsibilities.
They do background checks, trustworthiness, and the like, so that you are sure of the people you are going to entrust these materials with. So for us at Atomic Energy Council, through the recruitment process, all these are checked.
Participants are expected to apply the acquired best practices to strengthen nuclear safety and eliminate internal and external threats.
Analysts have warned of devastating consequences if member states of the East African Community, EAC, fail to make necessary arrangements to address the fuel supply chain disruptions caused by the Middle East crisis. They caution that East African countries, which heavily depend on imported fuel and related oil products from the Middle East, are likely to face worsening economic conditions that will further spike the already high cost of living. Our reporter, Saddam Mubale, is in Nairobi and filed this report.
The fragile ceasefire between the United States and Iran had raised hopes of renewed stability in global oil markets. The truce brokered by Pakistan comes after days of intense escalation, including airstrikes, missile attacks, and mounting threats. The conflict saw unprecedented strikes across the Gulf nations, disrupting key shipping routes and fueling fears of prolonged regional confrontation. However, tensions remain high after the two countries failed to reach a broader agreement. The United States imposed a blockade on Strait of Hormuz, a critical artery for global energy supplies. With access restricted, analysts warn that a fuel crisis could deepen, potentially plunging the global economy into further uncertainty.
The Strait of Hormuz still has got the challenge of supply chain. There are still speculations regarding the issue of the risk there because of market uncertainty, and therefore the pricing of the risk increase the risk, the cost of ensuring the products in the supply chain.
We should use this opportunity to have some independent energy solution. Not only green, because green energy, yes, we have sun all through. These were the moments when we could have also accelerated, solar energy and all other aspects of energy, so that we are not hit hard.
These developments have already caused panic in Kenya, where concerns over fuel availability persist, forcing motorists to endure long queues at fuel stations.
It's a serious crisis of fuel shortage. This is affecting us, affecting our movements, affecting our businesses, and we are calling upon the government to look into this serious problem.
Tuliambiwa hakuna shortage cha mafuta. Mutapata mafuta, msikuwa na wasiwasi. Lakini saa hii tumepanga mafuta tangu asubuhi mpaka saa hii bado sijafikia na sijui kama nitafikia.
In a press release issued by the government, authorities reassure the public that the country has sufficient fuel stocks to meet demand, adding that some oil marketing companies may be withholding supply.
Hoarding can take place, the government is right, hoarding can take place. The only thing is that, what does the government not know? The government knows who is hoarding, and who is the government? These same government officials, they own fuel stations, so who is hoarding? It is the government hoarding. Let's not lie here, am I wrong? Am I wrong? They know from the first buyer, from Arab countries, to the seller, and to the last consumer, they know. So if they know they are hoarding, let them list them and shame them, those who are hoarding.
The Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee over fuel crisis, maintained that the country has sufficient fuel stocks. Across Nairobi and other parts of the country, motorists continue to face uncertainty due to fuel supply fears. Silas Mutua, a taxi driver in Nairobi, shares his frustration over the difficulty of obtaining fuel.
Na kama jana nilienda Rongai, nikienda nikiwa na kilanchi, nilikaa kwa line kama 10 minutes, kulikuwa na shida kwa hizo petrol stations zaidi ya Rongai. So hii mambo ya mafuta inatupatia wasiwasi sana kama wana biashara wa barabara.
The agriculture sector has not been spared either. Given the country's heavy reliance on fertilizers for agricultural production, higher transport costs are expected to drive up prices of food and basic goods, adding pressure on households, as agrologists and food right expert Dr. Harun Warui explains.
And FAO has mentioned that there is a 15 to 20% decline in terms of food production if the situation continue in the Gulf in terms of inaccessibility to the fertilizer due to the close on the shipment line for the fertilizer and other commodities.
As the world awaits for a permanent solution following a fragile temporary ceasefire between the United States and Iran to end the Middle East conflict, its impact continues to be felt on the global energy markets, causing panic here in Kenya and beyond. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Nairobi.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential.
With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
My name is Angela Nakafero. I serve as the Commissioner, Gender and Women Affairs, Ministry of Gender, Labour, Social Development. COVID-19 has interrupted our lives. For the women and girls, it has escalated cases of gender-based violence. We've witnessed as a country an increase in the number of young girls who are currently mothers or who are currently pregnant. I would like to call upon all Ugandans to protect the child mothers and the pregnant girls that are going back to school. We have the laws. The Child Act Amendment of 2016 is very clear on elimination of violence against these girls. The guidelines on re-entry of these girls, which we are referring to as the second chance education, we need to give these young girls choice. We must give them hope. We need to protect them against sexual and gender-based violence.
Timex Nutrition Center invites the people of Gulu, Lira, Soroti and Mbale to attend health camps on the following days. On 21st April 2026 in Gulu City,
Boma Hotel.
On 22nd April in Lira,
Lira Hotel.
On 23rd April in Soroti,
Soroti Hotel.
And on 24th April in Mbale City,
Wash and Wheels Hotel.
All our old clients come for free medical reviews as we also welcome new clients. Come and get to know what to eat according to your blood group and genotype to prevent and treat several ailments like blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many more. For more information, call us on 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. Timex, be your own doctor.
On his 52nd birthday, General MK invites you for a charity run. The run will be held on 26th April 2026 at the Kololo Ceremonial Grounds starting at 6 a.m. Get yourself a kit using these MTN and Airtel payment platforms. Run for charity, run for hope.
Run for charity, run for hope.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at business news. The Minister of State for National Guidance, Godfrey Kabianga, has called upon all local internet service providers to hook onto the new government-led internet structure, the National Internet Protocol Peering Exchange Point, whose main objective is to give Uganda data and biodata sovereignty. Kabianga was speaking at the launch of the NITA Uganda-led structure here in Kampala. We have more in this story.
Statistics on internet use show that Uganda is a leading consumer of internet and its related services in Africa. However, the challenge remains that most of these services are outsourced.
We are now on sovereignty of data. We need our data to be here. And if you want to access it, you should access it from here.
Therefore, the government of Uganda has developed a system and structure where citizens will send, search, post and receive data through internet without relying on international structures.
The National IP Peering, or the National Internet Protocol Peering Exchange, will enable various network operators, the MNOs, the content delivery networks, and the universities and all content producers to interconnect directly to exchange traffic within Uganda rather than relying on expensive, indirect or competitor-owned routes.
Every time you send an email and that email goes through third-party country, you know that that country is picking data from that email. That's how IT works. Every time you are filling a form, Google, what's your name, surname, other name, where you were born, date of birth. You are giving free data, even when you are opening a Gmail. So if anybody wants any data from you, he will Google. And when he Googles, he will find your data. And for you are very happy, but Google is being paid.
This arrangement is two-way as government has brought on board private sector players.
The question before us definitely is not whether we should have this exchange. The real question is how to build it into a coordinated ecosystem that maximizes our efficiency, our investments, and the resilience. And I would emphasize that it is resilience. There is a private exchange point. Now we have a national exchange point.
The NIPIC structure, according to government, comes with ease.
So we are also saying we need our data here so that, one, it becomes easy for you to access it. It becomes cheaper for you to access it. But we should also have data sovereignty. Our data belongs to us.
However, although Uganda's biggest worry is on data privacy and security, government is confident that such threats holds no ground in the new arrangement.
We have what we call the National SAT, the Computer Emergency Response Team platform. And this platform, through this platform, we are able to, if, for example, an attack is coming from a specific country, we are able to isolate.
Besides efficiency and easy access to the internet, the National Internet Protocol Peering will also cater for concerns arising from data traffic and speeds. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Electricity Regulatory Authority has started promoting gender inclusivity in Uganda's energy sector by engaging women professionals and students to inspire more female participation.
Gender imbalance in energy sector remains a challenge in this sector, with men still occupying majority of roles. During an interactive meeting for women in energy and students, officials emphasized involving more girls and young women in the science-related subjects.
Knowledge that without clean energy, the work of a woman becomes very, very difficult. It impacts the quality of the education that your children get. It impacts the services, health services to the community. The woman is the major nurse of the nation.
The stakeholders at the meeting called for a deliberate effort to motivate girls who are still at school, highlighting mentorship from established female engineers. Engineer Grania I. Rubombora encouraged young women to remain focused.
University chalinga tukireka namba yeyongedde nnyo naye ennaku zino bagenda beeyongera wadde tetunatuuka we twagalira. That's why tugezaako okujja okukusaamu energy ngaffe ababaddeyo abalaba nti tusobodde tunaffe tujje okwencouraginga.
Meanwhile, ERA Chief Executive Officer Zaria Tibalwa Wako proposed engaging women in energy to build a more inclusive and diverse workforce that drives innovation and sustainable development.
Engineering is for men. You will not be able to go up in the ceiling. You will not climb poles or towers. Now, these stereotypes that discourage future engineers like me are not should be avoided. Parents should be able to listen passionately to the interest of the child. And if they...
The ministry urges all stakeholders to support and nurture the next generation of women leaders in the energy sector. Story compiled by Mwingo Joseph for UBC News.
Uganda's agricultural sector has registered progress following the introduction of WDR73 rice variety. A government agronomist, Samuel Mloma, says the FAO-China South-to-South Cooperation Program partnership is steadily reshaping farming practices. The demonstration farm of the WDR73 hybrid rice is in Butaleji district.
Ministry of Agriculture introduced the water-saving and drought-resilient rice varieties in 2023 to strengthen food security and improve household incomes.
So this variety is really very good. Even in drought, it can resist and really produce. Even water, when water is scarce or a lot, it will still produce. The productivity here is high compared to other varieties, because here you can get 4,000 kilograms, which is 4 tons per acre.
The WDR73 hybrid rice variety that can withstand drought and flooding conditions was developed through a partnership between Chinese scientists, National Agriculture Research Organization, and Food and Agriculture Organizations of the United Nations, FAO.
From an FAO perspective, as we work towards food security and nutrition for all the countries we work with, I think this is a very good step forward to increase the local production of rice in Uganda. And another aspect that we always want to encourage is the sustainability, both in terms of economics for the farmers, but also from an environmental perspective.
Agriculture officers from 30 districts and over 100 lead farmers were trained in nursery and bed preparation, line planting, water management, and integrated pest control to improve crop performance and yields. However, there is also a push for climate-smart agriculture and water management to reduce environmental impacts and methane emissions.
One of the things that they have improved here is the agronomics. They've started line planting, which is also a good way to save seeds. And rice production is seen as one of the culprits of methane emissions, greenhouse gas emissions. So that would be the next step, to see how we can reduce methane emissions from these fields and to make it even more sustainable and more profitable for the farmers in Uganda.
For farmers, the impact is life-changing. A member of Himutu Dohotu Rice Farmers Cooperative, Fazila says irrigation and improved seed varieties have enabled her to grow rice twice a year.
So in the demonstrations we established, we've been able to realize increased production of rice.
With better yields and improved grain quality, farmers are accessing better markets for better incomes.
Sports news now, and match day 4 of the Chapa League delivered excitement, drama and crucial results at the NEC grounds in Bugolobi, Kampala. Take a watch.
Defending champions Yoboyobo continued their flawless start, securing a confident 2-0 victory over Dingiswayo.
We want to keep the momentum of the team, just like we did for last season. Last season we played the whole season without losing a game. We were unbeaten. So we managed to qualify.
It's really a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful feeling.
and I call upon each and everyone out there to try out Chapa League.
Bulls Old-Timers also stayed in contention with a 2-1 victory against Akaju, who are also searching for their first win of the season. Off the pitch, fans enjoyed a vibrant matchday experience, powered by the Chapa League sponsor, Guinness.
For us as Guinness, it's about ensuring that our consumers are having the best experience ever when it comes to football, and giving that experience only the way Guinness can. So we are pledging to continue our support to alumni leagues within Uganda, to the Chapa League, and basically offer Guinness at the lowest rates possible.
In a tightly contested clash, Karasande and Mutakoha settled for a 1-1 draw, leaving both sides locked in the mid-table battle. League leaders SC Ruizi edged ex-convicts 1-0, maintaining their strong start and reinforcing their title ambitions. In other results, Roharo snatched a dramatic 2-2 draw against Chogam, thanks to a stoppage time equalizer. Elsewhere, Sifa cruised to a 2-0 victory over Unruly, while TY Sheldon celebrated their first victory of the season. Ezechenda also secured a narrow 1-0 win over Katara. The Chapa League is a sports competition amongst all students of Mbara High School, but includes a ladies' team through collaboration with Maryhill High School.
Our relationship begins way back in high school, from high school prom, seminars, academic things and social things, everything.
So I invite all of you that normally get bored at home, you can always come and join us and we have fun.
The league returns on Sunday for matchday 5 as teams battle for playoff spots.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On Sign Language, it's been Senyamo Yusuf and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. But do remember that our second and final bulletin of the day comes your way at 10 p.m.